Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome to my YouTube if you're new here, and if you're not new, of course, welcome back, offs. So, today's video is a full face makeup tutorial, which as regular watchers of this channel will know, I don't normally do full face. I normally either focus on base makeup or eyeshadow, because I just feel like the videos can be too long and maybe people will just get bored of me just talking. Anyway, today I've actually done a full face makeup tutorial, so if this is something that you like and want to see more of, then please let me know by leaving me some feedback in the comment section and let me know what you think of the video, and if you want to see more of this every week, and also liking this video. It would literally just give me a clue to like what this audience wants and is looking for. So today, as you can see, the skin is very dewy, so if you would actually like to see how to achieve a very dewy, very glowy makeup look on the base, then please keep watching. And the eyes are very creative, very colourful, and I weren't really sure where I was going with the eyes, but I actually love how they've turned out. I don't actually find this look that hard either, it's not that complicated. So I'm even going to recommend this as a beginner friendly makeup tutorial, because I talk through each step and I am very informative if I say so myself. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, and let's chat in the comment section. Today I'm actually going to be doing a full face and eyes included, but I'm just going to be going off camera real quick just to do the brows, because I've actually got an eyebrow tutorial anyway, which I'll link in the description bar down below, so check that out. But yeah, BRB. Wow, the difference of just one eyebrow. Wow. Interestingly enough, the eyebrow pencil I've just used to complete these brows is the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and it's actually the pencil that I used in my eyebrow tutorial. So I just thought I'd mention that in case anyone's wondering what I actually use for the eyebrows. Now I'm just going to be going in with the P. Louise base in the shade Rumen 0.5, and this is just to actually prime the eyelids and carve out the brow. So I'll include one eye in this tutorial and I'll do the other eye off camera. So I'm just putting the brush on its side when I'm carving out just under the brow. The brush I'm using to do this is the Zoeva 144 brush. And then I'm just patting this base, which actually helps to set the base. You don't actually need to set this with any translucent powder. You can just set it by patting it into place. And then just to make sure that it is set, I'm going to be going in with the Primark 101 HD Kabuki brush, and I'm just going to be pressing just on top this eyeshadow base. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be doing this eye off camera, and then I'm going to be doing the other eye on camera. So I'm going to do this eye so I've got more of a clue what I'm doing and where the look's going. I know I'm going to be using a pigment today, but I'm not really too sure of the colours and whatnot. As you can see, it's kind of a mixture of colours. So it was kind of like a sunset eye, but then I just added a little bit of pigment and a really dramatic lash and a little bit of black to smoke out the waterline, and yeah. So if you want to see how to achieve this eye, then keep watching. So the palette that I'm going to be using today is the P. Louise palette, and this is just the original palette. So the first shade that I went in with on this eye was the shade Contour, which is just like a deep plum purpley shade. So I'm picking that up on a Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease brush. Now I want to keep this in a circular shape. I'm just simply going to be placing this colour just in the crease and just building it up in the outer edges. So I'm just packing it on like so, and then I'm really working it deep into the crease, as you can see, so that it goes on in a circular shape. And I'm just building it up again, and I keep dipping back into that shadow, just building it up, and I'm really pushing it deep into the crease, as you can see. So I've placed that shadow so that when my eye is open, you can actually see this colour. So that means it's just above my own natural crease. So I'm going to be going in with another brush now by Zoeva, and this is the 227 Luxe Soft Definer brush. Now the next shade I'm going to be taking to blend out contour is the shade Martini. More of a pink than a purple shade, but obviously pink will blend out this colour quite nicely. And as you can see, I'm just tracing over the edges where I've put the first shade contour. So yeah, just very lightly tracing over these edges, and I'm not winging this shadow out. As you can see, I'm just literally tracing around the eye socket shape, so in a circular shape, as you can see. And then I'm just tracing a C on the outer corner of the eye, as that really helps keep a circular shape, as you can see. So the next brush I'm going in with is the Morphe M518 brush, and I'm going to be picking up the shade Sunkissed, so that's this one. So I'm just going to be using this brush to blend out the edges of the second shade I used, which was Martini. Now I'm using colours like purples and oranges and pinks because they're the type of colours that kind of remind me of a sunset, which is how this look started out, believe it or not. I know it's a bit of a crazy sunset, but that was like the inspiration anyway. So I'm taking Sunkissed right to the brow bone, as you can see. And then again, I'm just tracing a C shape just on the outer corner of the eye. And as you can see, those shades blend together perfectly. Purple and orange don't really blend, but because I've added a pink in between, which is directly in between both of those colours, then that's why it actually blends so well together. So that's just a little tip for if you're ever wondering how to blend a really dark colour into a really light colour. Just choose a colour that's in between them, and then that colour will tie them both together, and you won't be able to see where one colour started and the next one stopped, sort of thing, if you get me. So the next shade I'm going to be going in with is P. Louise. I'm taking the Zoeva 224 Luxe Defined Crease. So this is a smaller brush now, and the reason I'm using a smaller brush is because I don't want a big fluffy brush right by the brow bone. I just literally want this brush just to tickle over the edges. And obviously, as you can see here, I don't want to go to the tail of the brow, I just want to curl it round as I've explained. And as you can see, that just really did diffuse and help blend this eye together now. So now that the colours are blended, I'm going to be going in with the P. Louise base that I used before, which was the P. Louise base in Rumour 0.5. And I've just squeezed a little bit of that out onto my little palette. So all I'm going to be doing is dipping my finger into this eye base and just placing it just on the lid, and still keeping it in like a circular shape. So I'm dragging this base down. I'm not brushing it up, I'm literally just taking my fingertip and roughly keeping this in a circular shape. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I've put a pigment on this eye and then topped it with glitter. So because this base is tacky, this will help the pigment to stick to the eyelid. So now what I'm going to be doing before I put that pigment on, I'm just going to be going back in with the shade Contour, which was the first shade we used. And I'm going to be picking Contour up on a Morphe Jeffree Star JS13 brush. So it's just a really small brush, like a pencil brush. And all I'm going to be doing is deepening up the shade Contour, just to make sure that when the pigment goes on, you can see here that there's still a nice purpley shade underneath. Because I do actually want to be able to see all the colours, so I need to make sure that the purple is still visible even when I've put the pigment down. So I'm going to go back in now with the shade Martini, and this is on the same brush I used before, so the Zoeva 227, and I'm just going to be blending the edges of that purple contour shade that we just put down. So now I'm going to be picking up the Morphe Jeffree Star JS8 brush, and I'm going to be taking the Inglot pigment, and that is the Inglot AMC Pure Pigment Eyeshadow in number 119. So I'm just taking a fluffy brush and I'm just dipping that into the pigment pot, and I'm just literally going to drag it. I'm just going to drag it across where I actually put the P. Louise base. I really do like Inglot pigments, they really are quite nice and they're a good texture. They're really easy to work with. As you can see, that's just blended out all over the eyelid really well. So I've kind of created my own little glitter. So this is not going to be helpful to anyone watching, but I think I've used some of the Magpie glitters, a bit of the NYX glitters, and I've just mixed them all together to make like a really holographic glitter, so that when the light shines on it, it goes different colours. There's a bit of gold in here, a bit of pink. So yeah, ooh, this is not helpful, but it's just my own little glitter combo, which you could obviously make yourself as well. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit of the NYX glitter primer. So it looks like this, and I've already poured a little bit of that just onto my palette. So I'm taking a little bit of the NYX Glitter Primer, which is just like basically glitter glue. And I'm taking that on a Morphe Jeffree Star JS5 brush. And all I've done on the other eye was just sort of put it in the centre. So then now I'm going to be taking the same brush that I picked the pigment up on, and I'm just going to be picking up that glitter. And that really does just intensify it, doesn't it? Adding a little bit of glitter. So then now I'm going to be getting to work on the waterline. So on the waterline, I've used the Makeup Forever Artist Colour Pencil, and this is in the shade Whatever Black. So I'm just going to be running that along the waterline. And then I'm just going to be setting this black. Now the P. Louise palette doesn't actually have a black, so I'm going to be going in with the Morphe Jeffree Star Original palette, and I'm just going to be taking the black shade from this palette, which is almost nearly gone. It's such a good black, by the way. I'm going to be pressing this along the waterline. So then now I'm going to be going back in with the Morphe Jeffree Star JS13 brush, and I'm going to be taking the first shade I used, so the shade Contour, and I'm just going to be running this underneath where I've put the black so that it blends into obviously the pink on the top. And as you can see, I'm just building this up in stages, but I'm focusing most of the colour just on the outer corner. And then now to blend the pink and make it have a bit of a burnt orange effect, I'm going to be going in with the Zoeva 231 Luxe Petite Crease Brush. So that's just like a pencil brush, which is very good for buffing out the under eye. And I'm actually going to be taking the shade Sunkissed again, mixed with a little bit of burnt, which is a deeper orange. And I'm just going to be running underneath the contour shade. I'm going to go back in with the same brush and take contour again, because inevitably when you've put another colour under, so you just see me put the orange under, it sort of does take away from any colours you've already put down. So I'm just deepening this up and making sure that the black in the waterline blends to the orangey colour by using contour. You remember what I was saying before about when you've got a dark colour, so the black in the waterline, and you want it to blend to like obviously orange. Obviously the pink in the middle is a good colour to tie them together because it's not as dark as the black, but it's not as light as the orange. So it's a perfect colour to actually put in between those dark and light colours to make them blend. And then now I'm just going to be picking up a clean brush. This is the EcoTools blurring brush. This is clean, and all I'm doing is just tracing a C shape just on the outer corner of the eye, and that's just to clean up and keep the concealer here, well, the eye base, clean, so it doesn't look like there's all pink or orange over it. It just looks nice and clean and sharp, crisp edges. So yeah, there's another tip for you. If you want these edges to stay clean, just take a clean brush, trace out a C shape if you're obviously doing a circular shape, and then obviously that's how you'd avoid shadows blending into your concealer and going muddy and colours mixing together and not looking right. That's how you'd avoid it. Just take a clean brush and just literally trace out the shape that you're going for. So I'm going to be going in now with the NYX Epic Ink Liner, and this is just in the shade Black. So I'm just going to be putting this, I'm not doing a wing, I'm just literally going to be just tracing this from the inner corner of my eye to the outer corner. Now, your liner, for anyone who does not know this, should be thickest in the centre. So like where your pupil of your eye is, that's where it should be thickest. And then it should be thinnest just on the inner corner. And then I'm going to be taking that same brush that I picked up the black on, so the Zoeva 226 Smudger brush, and I'm going to be taking the dark brown shade from the P. Louise palette, which is called Bestie, and I'm just going to be pressing Bestie on top of the NYX Epic Ink Liner. And that's just to set it. I don't really believe that this product needs setting, but it's just something that I like to do so that I know that my product and shadows won't move all day or night. Now, as you can see here, a little bit of that shadow, the black underneath is run. So I'm just taking contour again, and I'm just blending this black into the other shadows underneath. Again, tracing out that C shape. So then now what I'm going to be doing is going in with lashes. Now I did try and use the Morphe premium lashes in the style Glambassador, but I was picking a little bit of glue off the lash band, and this is what happened. Like, they literally just came apart in my hand, so I'm not very impressed with that at all. They're just literally in the tray, just in pieces. Devastating, but I've got another style anyway. So the style that I did end up going in with was the Morphe lashes, premium lashes. This is in the style Yas Queen, I think, or Yes Queen. I'm just going to be applying lashes now, but first I need a little bit of mascara. So for mascara, I went in with the Avon Mark Big and Phenomenal Volume. So this mascara, and I really do like the wand on this. It's one of those plastic ones. It's not like a brush wand, like a bristly brush wand that's got like actual hairs. This is just like a plastic one, but it's so good at separating the lashes. Now, while that mascara's drying, I'm just going to be going back in with the P. Louise shade. So, and that's just to make sure that these edges look the same as on the other eye, so that they look very blended. So to prime the skin, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen this product, it's just in like a balm form. So I'm just applying this to places where I know that I can see pores through foundation. So that's mostly on the cheek area. And I'm really working this into the skin, as you can see, with clean fingers. And I'm really working it just around the nose, as that's where I find, for me anyway, foundation can gather and sit in pores. So a little bit on the forehead as well. And this literally just feels like a moisturiser on the skin. But yeah, it literally is one of my favourite primers. So if you haven't tried it out already, then do it. If pores are something that, you know, you need to minimise in your makeup routine, then I'd definitely recommend trying this out, the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. So a few days ago, I done a makeup look for Instagram, and I used the Fenty Beauty matchsticks. Now, I use these under the foundation, so I'm just going to be doing the same again today. So the Fenty Beauty matchstick in Bamboo, which is just a concealing highlighting shade, I'm just going to be using this to even out my skin tone underneath the eyes. And as you can see, it just sort of neutralises any redness, and it is quite a good coverage, this stick as well. Taking a brush now just to make sure that this is fully blended into the skin rather than just sitting on top of the skin. So the brush I'm taking is the Primark 101 HD Kabuki brush, and I'm simply just patting this into the skin. And as you can see, that just literally worked wonders for any redness here. Now, I used to think, well, what's the point in doing like a bit of colour correcting underneath and contouring underneath, because then you're going to go over it. But I did find that it actually does show through the foundation. So the next matchstick I'm going to be going in with is a contour shade now. So this is in the shade Mocha. So I'm just going to be contouring where I normally would with powder. So hollows of the cheeks mainly. I'm going to be bringing it up a little bit just onto the forehead. Now, I sometimes find the Fenty Beauty matchsticks a bit hard to blend out, but when I use the Fenty Beauty 110 foundation brush, I find it quite easy. So this is the Fenty 110 foundation brush, and because it's so dense and tightly packed together, it really does work for blending out this shade. And I am being quite firm, but yeah, it really does just warm up the skin. And I do actually find that these matchsticks are actually strong enough in pigment to actually, well, they're full coverage enough to actually still show even when I put foundation on top the other day. Now, because obviously no one wants contour down here, like obviously contour is supposed to define your cheekbones, and my cheekbones are not down here, so clearly I've blended a little bit too low. I'm just going to go in with the Bamboo shade in the matchsticks and just carve out underneath the contour. So I'm going to be taking the Morphe Beauty Sponge and just pressing this Bamboo matchstick into the skin. And I'm so sorry if anyone can hear my dog snoring. I've got both of them on the bed behind me, and yeah, I apologise about the noise. So, the foundation I'm going to be going in with is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Hydrating Foundation, and this is in the shade 30 Sand. Now, I have actually tried this foundation before. I've done a foundation Friday, which I can also link in the description box for anyone to go and check out. Please like it while you're there and leave me some feedback on the video, as it all helps. But yeah, I'm going to be using it again today. So to apply this to the skin, I'm going to be going in with the Inglot 57S brush. And it's just like a little spatula, like a silicone spatula. But I found it just so easy and quick to apply foundation. I bought it when I was on holiday in Malta. It just looks so cool, and I bought a smaller one as well. But yeah, it just makes putting a foundation on the skin quite quick. I'm going to be blending this out now with the Morphe Beauty Sponge. Now, from what I can remember, this foundation was not full coverage, but I still did like it in my Foundation Friday review. I still actually did like this foundation. But straight away you can see that pimple is coming through, and here on the skin there's a little bit of redness as well. Let me see if I just lower the light if you can see it. So obviously everyone can see that, can't they? So yeah, everyone can see that. And here as well, there's quite a bit of redness. And there's a few pimples just on the back of the cheeks here. So I'm going to try and go over with the Fenty Beauty Bamboo. See if that adds any more coverage. Which, yeah, it actually does. Now, this foundation, even though it is a hydrating foundation, I feel like I want to set it all over with a loose translucent powder, because obviously it's not full coverage and I do have a little pimple or four on this cheek. So I actually feel like I want to set it, which is going to mattify it, which kind of defeats the object of a hydrating foundation, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to be going in with the Real Techniques blush brush, and I'm just going to be going in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, and this is in the shade Light. As you can see, I'm just literally pressing this into the skin, just dusting it all over, which adding a little bit of loose powder, even if it's translucent, does actually add a little bit of coverage to foundation. So I actually do need it today, so that's why I don't mind mattifying this hydrating foundation. So yeah, bit disappointed, because I actually remembered I loved this, but maybe this foundation is just not the foundation to use when your skin is acting up, when you do have a few pimples. It's definitely not going to cover that. So that's just for anyone who's thinking of buying this Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid. Maybe don't do it if you've got pimples or whatever, because it's not going to cover it up. It's not that type of foundation. But obviously if you just need something for everyday, lightweight, then definitely do it. So moving on to concealer now, I'm going to be going in with the NYX Born to Glow concealer, and this is in the shade Vanilla. Now, I actually do think that this is one of my favourite concealers. It is really good coverage and you don't need a lot at all. So a little bit of this product goes such a long way. So mostly just focusing that just on the under eye. So I'm going to be going back in with the Morphe Beauty Sponge just to blend out this concealer so it doesn't look so harsh. And then just to get into those really hard to reach areas, I'm going to be going in with the Real Techniques setting brush, which is just a small brush. I'm just tapping this concealer down. I'm not rubbing or swiping, I'm just literally pressing this concealer into the skin. And then I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, and I'm picking this up on a Real Techniques multitask cheek brush. So I've dipped it in, I'm tapping off any excess, and then I'm simply patting the e.l.f. powder just where I put that concealer. To bronze the face, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. bronzer, and this is in the shade Warm. So if anyone watches this channel regularly, then you'll know that this is one of my favourite bronzers. It's just such a glowy bronzer and it looks so natural on the skin. So I'm going to be going in with a MAC Cosmetics angled 168 brush. So because this brush is angled, it's perfect for getting just under the hollows of the cheeks. And I'm just taking a mixture of all of these shades, just swirling the brush round, tapping off excess, and then I'm just going over where you see me put the Fenty Beauty matchstick in shade Mocha. And then I'm just taking a little bit just down the back of the cheekbone and underneath the jawline. And then because at the back of the cheekbone towards more the ear, it looks more natural if you use a darker shade. If you keep the contour the darkest towards the cheekbone / hairline, it looks more natural. So I'm going to be really focusing on the darkest shade from this palette, and I'm really focusing that just at the back, more towards the hairline. It's quite a big size as well, and I really do think it's just such a glowy bronzer and so flattering. For me anyway, I really do like this product, so I definitely recommend it. So for the cheeks, I'm going to be going in with a cream blush now, and this is also by e.l.f. So this is the Monochromatic Multi-Stick, and it's in the shade Dazzle and Peony. I'm going to be taking the Real Techniques buffing brush, and I'm just literally going to be picking a little bit of this up. And rather than swipe a cream blush, I'm more just pressing it into the skin, because swiping cream products over powder products I don't think is the best idea, because inevitably it will actually make some of the product come off. So I'm just literally pressing this into the cheekbones and apples of the cheeks, as you can see. And it just looks so natural. So the blush I'm going to be using to set the cream blush is the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. And I'm going to be taking another Real Techniques brush. This again is the blush brush. So I'm just going to be going over, but I am going to be swiping now. Pressing that first, but then swiping the blush back to where the contour is, as that really makes blush look natural as well if you swipe it to where the contour is, rather than just focus it on the apples of the cheeks. So now for highlight, I'm going to be going in with the Ofra Cosmetics mini highlighter, and this is in the shade Rodeo, and I'm going to be going in with my favourite Spectrum brush, so Rodeo Drive highlighter. And it really is a blinding highlight, this one. So I'm just curling the highlight up underneath the brow bone, like so, as that will look really flattering in pictures. A little bit down the bridge of the nose, tip of the nose as well, and a little bit just above the front of the brow, as that's where the sun would naturally hit. And then I just like to take it up a little bit up the forehead to just give that really dewy, glowy look. So now for lips, I'm just going to stick with a nude lip today, because that is just my speciality. So for my lip liner, I'm going to be going in with my favourite lip liner, which is the Morphe Colour Pencil, and this is in the shade Sweet Tea. And then I'm joining the Cupid's bow in the middle, and I'm just drawing some lines in the lips, so contour lines. So by putting a line sort of like in the middle and just on the sides, that makes your lips look like they're bulging, so obviously more full. So just a little tip for anyone who wants to make the lips look a bit bigger. And then for lipstick today, I'm going to be going in with the Doll Beauty lipstick in the shade FOMO, which is just a really very pale nude. Now, I only bought this because I seen it on Nikki Tutorials channel and it looked amazing, but I don't really love it, to be honest, on me. I don't think it's like my perfect nude lip, but I'm going to try it anyway, just to give it another chance and see. Now, I can never decide between a matte lip or a glossy lip, but today I think I'm going to do gloss. So I'm going to be going in with the NYX Professional Makeup Butter Gloss, and this is in the shade Fortune Cookie. Now, I'm just putting this in the centre, as that's another good tip to make your lips look more plump, by just putting gloss in the centre, rather than all over the lip. And I'm just going to take the Morphe Beauty Sponge and just literally carve out just like that. I'm just going to press this into the skin rather than dust it away. I'm literally just going to press this into the skin. Now obviously we're just seeing how much difference that made, I hope. So guys, this is the finished and completed look. Now, if everyone could, whoever's watched this tutorial, if you could please let me know if this is actually something that you like on this channel and you want to see me do more of every week. So obviously today I've done a full face. Now, normally I just do either eyes or base, but if this is more up your street in terms of makeup and tutorials, then please let me know, because I'm just trying to get to know this audience and what they like and whatnot. But yeah, I really do hope that everyone did learn something today, you enjoyed the tutorial, and you don't mind supporting me by giving this video a like and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Or you could even just go one better and hit the notification bell so that when I upload every week, which I do every week now, you won't miss anything from this channel. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll definitely see you in the next tutorial.